Saving Simone's life isn't on our agenda today.
No, he just wants to make out with me.
Yeah, I think he does.
I do.
That's what I've heard.
I mean, we don't need.
He's got chapped lips today, though.
I know, they terrify me.
Yeah, so
Just razor blades up in there.
welcome to Calling the Audible here for week 3 into week 4 on a chilly Thursday night.
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Yo, so I'm sorry, but anybody who lives in St. Leonard and is listening to this podcast
The armpit of Montreal.
needs to move the hell out because they have not removed an inch of snow. It hasn't even snowed since last week.
It's the worst.
I get that it was an ice storm, but it was like an inch of snow.
Yeah, but they also changed like mayor and
I don't really, because she's the one signing all the brand new contracts on the first day of the job.
I guess.
No.
She
St. Leonard's
took
garbage.
a lot of heat.
Also,
on,
she's not the
budget
one
day.
that does that. It's
What?
the cities. It's like not her. It's
City councilors.
I don't.
She took a lot of heat, though. A lot of heat. Welcome into the Calling the Audible for Div 6 and Div 6D.
What's up?
For those of you who noticed, we have a bunch of food around us. Coffees, Cookie Crisp. GM has his
It's not
thing.
a shot, man. They don't see it.
Yes. To my immediate left, Simon Dager. Far left, Peeze Delarici. Straight ahead of me, Eagle. And the producer, of course, is GM Clorethrus.
We're so for a game. Go ahead. Because he's saying introducing GM as the Eagle Suns play.
Yeah, I know.
It's terrible. Our production value is decreasing.
We have.
Buy them.
Definitely have. We're going to dive into it with the recap of the week here. We'll
That's
recap the games that we saw. We'll get to Marc-Andre Delaunay in 2 seconds. Let's recap the week that was. Gentlemen, Simon, what did you see from this past week's action?
Well, last week we discussed. You were saying that Diablos would beat the Bruins, and we said the Bruins would beat Diablos.
Yes.
And Diablos and the Bruins won. So you were wrong and we were right. So that happened.
Is that really your recap? Oh, that happened. They won. They lost.
you.
Congratulations.
Results happen.
Yeah.
The results happened. Also, Mo was wrong, which is amazing to say. Klingers took a beating against two flags, 1 cup. That was pretty bad. And OSP, our dear 1-speed power, got destroyed.
No, the game
It
was
was 25 points.
game was closer than the score indicates.
I mean, it's 25 points.
yeah, correct.
How close could it be?
It was as close as 25 points, and it was much closer for large periods of the game.
Please elaborate.
No, I don't feel like talking about my own team.
All right.
How is it that you lost and I still have to look at your face on the homepage of 60?
Because I'm so
or 6?
inefficient as a quarterback that I complete 1 billion passes for 1
He's like
billion
Blake
yards.
Bortles out there.
Yeah, I'm worse actually because I'm not an NFL quarterback.
If you recall, though, Bortles 3 years ago had 35 touchdown passes. I was like, oh my God, what a year. But his numbers came in garbage time, mop-up time.
Yeah, but see, like for me, it's the opposite. It's that all game long I move the ball and I just
You
can't
choke
get
in
to the end
garbage
zone.
time?
No, it's not choking. It's hard to get into the end zone.
Pension Plan remain undefeated. They are phenomenal.
Who?
Pension Plan.
Oh, pension man. Sorry.
21-19 over Blitz Babes. I watched that game from afar. 2 good teams going at it. You look at how it came down to, I think the Plan are starting to get more stronger in defense, play by play. And
I think it's a matter that they're learning what to do and what not to do at the right times.
yeah, you're
It's
right.
just like experience, right? Like it's
Absolutely.
the first few seasons, you kind of need to try a few things around. This doesn't work. This works best for us. And I think they're at this point now.
Division hopeful 6 champions, whatever they call Hopeful Division 6 champions, got
There you go.
cracked. They look like a Division 7 seed team at this point. They lose 24-6 to the Guardians, and again, watching that game from afar.
I was there.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I'm gonna have a recap of my game, so I won't get into too much in my article. So I won't get into too much.
From my perspective, it just looks like they're like 4 steps behind the curve of where they should be.
Yeah, there's a lot of things wrong with hopeful Division 6 champions, but I won't get into that because I covered that
Yes.
a lot in my article. But I will say about this game specifically and why curse the darkness that is hopeful Division 6 champions when you can praise the light, which is in this game Guardians.
I see what you did there.
And Kevin Marcel looked good. His play calling is competent. He can move. He can definitely use his legs. But more than that, he threw a better ball than I thought, and his accuracy is not great. But he calls good plays, and guys get open. And in this game, at least he hit them more often than he didn't. I think I didn't check statistically whether or not that's true, but let's imagine it is.
6D, anything that caught your attention in Div 6D? In terms of the outcome, Simon, Peeze.
Well, as I was still looking in the Division 6, where we covered a lot of that just now. I saw
Sick Bic, though. They're
Sick
looking
Bic 40-0
over Go Depot. They're looking pretty good right now.
To me, there's two teams right now that are head and shoulders above the rest, and that's Air Force One and Sick Bic. And like each week when I'm writing the power rankings, it's like one or the other. That's the top of the division because it's hard for me to choose at this point because they're both very, very, very good teams. I saw Sunday Touch Boys get their first one.
Yeah, good for them.
Which was nice because they looked all right in the
Yeah.
tournament. They looked all right in the Fall Cup, and then see them go 0-2 to start was a little bit of a letdown. And they beat Kraken still 47-33. And I think we're going to touch on this a little bit later.
Yeah.
So
AF1 though, I think it's a quality win over Quackers though.
well, that's the thing is like Quackers are a good team.
Yeah.
I think that Air Force One are a better group of football players who soon will be far superior to the rest of the division. Right now, they're still figuring out the league and still beating teams.
I feel like Air Force One is that one team that we will talk about in a few seasons when you say that team that went 10-0 that destroyed everybody. And now they got better, they moved up.
I think they'll have close games. I don't think
Well,
they're gonna.
the
This was a
Quackers
close
game was
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I
One-score
think
game,
I think they're gonna be tested. They're gonna have 2 or 3 games where they take their lumps in a sense, but they will win 9 or 10 games, I believe.
Well, look,
and they allowed 26 points in the second half, so it's a team that can be vulnerable because there's a bit of a learning gap, I think.
Well, look, their first 2 out of 3 wins have been by pretty much 6 points or less. They won by 6 this past week. 2 weeks ago, they won 25-20 over Vultures. But their next few games, guys, they have Sunday Touch Boys coming up. Air Force One will play Krakens in 2 weeks after the bye week, that is. And then they'll play the replacement. So their next 2-3 games will give us a pretty good measuring tape of where they're at in their development in 6D.
I feel like they're gonna prove everybody they're probably the best team in Division 6D with their schedule moving forward. We said that Quackers would probably be their biggest challenge, and they won.
Simon,
So-
sorry, Peace, you know what that means now, for Simon Dagenet? This is his team. Like he's now
Well,
going to take them no matter what.
I'm
They'll
fine with
play
that.
God, and he'll take these guys over God.
I remember the first
Over you for sure.
the day after the season started and they had this huge first win. That's when I got the text from Alex Davis like, "Oh, I know those kids. I coached them." And the way he spoke about them, I mean, there's obviously coach's pride, but the way he spoke about them was like these really seem like a group of good kids and tremendous football players, and we're seeing that early on in their FPF career.
Let's just dive into a couple of topics before we get into Marc Andre Delaunier here.
Yeah, let him wait.
Well, make him wait a couple minutes here. In Div 6, right, we look at the first 3 games, a good measure stick to look at here. Conference A, there are 4 teams in the U, Channel 4, Vic in the Box, Pension Plan, who are kind of running away from the competition. Gentlemen, are these the 4 teams to beat in that side of the bracket right now?
Simon says,
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
I guess so. I guess that's the way like Mokan wants to break it down. I just feel like some of these teams there's gonna be a few teams that are gonna shock us. Like I think that Sticks and Movers may surprise a team or two. Like I feel like it's a
Yeah, but they had
So-
a tough loss, though, in the week.
well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
So I will I think within this group, I just played against Vic in the Box. Max Bura is ridiculous.
yes.
which we'll get to as well.
Yeah, we'll get to
Yes.
sorry, I keep covering things that we're gonna get to later in
It's
the script.
easy.
And the U look very good. They're the only team with a 3 triple-digit plus minus so far, which is ridiculous after 3 games. But then Pension Plan is solid, but there are certain types of teams that they'll have trouble with, and they beat one of those types of teams in Blitz Babes.
Right.
Their team
Yep.
they have trouble usually against more athletic teams, and they beat a more athletic team. And Channel 4 News team has a plus minus of 10 points after 3 games. Those are all 3 games that could have gone a different way.
But I think it's a positive thing, though, because you talk about close victories, right? I think that kind of builds teams up. We've seen teams in lower division, gentlemen, where they would roll through the regular
Yeah,
season.
but Mo, how many times do you see a game where a guy drops a ball in the end zone and then the next drive the other team scores and then the game's over? You know what I mean? There's a level of randomness to it.
But
Too.
would you not prefer playing close wins than having blowout wins? Because in the playoffs, where you're playing a tight game, those who don't have the experience are like,
Also,
what do we do at that
It
point?
also depends how your blowouts happen. If you get a blowout because the other team couldn't score and they had a lot of drops all over the place and you kind of got lucky with them, that's one thing. But if you get like 6 interceptions in one game and you win 40-6, that's not so much.
So like
You
Mo,
know?
we've seen Vic in the Box. In back-to-back weeks, they put up 51 and 38 points.
pretty
Channel
good.
4 News Team, we haven't seen them do anything like that. Do you think Channel 4 News Team are stronger than Vic in the Box? Based on that knowledge.
Based on stats, if you're going
Yes.
stats dependent, then you're going to take Vic in the box.
Based on information,
Obviously, yes, on numbers, right?
yes. Yeah, so that's
But-
what I'm saying. Like you're more comfortable taking. I'm not saying that it's a guaranteed win if these two teams play, but what is possible is that what's more than likely is Vic in the Box would beat them. Let's say 8 or 9
Yes.
times out of 10.
But now we'll see them play the U next week. We'll talk about,
And that'll be
briefly
a
here. And that's a
measuring
good
stick
test,
because
right?
if
That's
they win,
really
then I'm
true.
completely wrong, and I'm happy to be
Yeah.
wrong if that's the case. I need to turn my ringer off because this
Yes.
thing's going off in my ear.
It wasn't you.
Yeah.
It was me the entire time.
It was you.
Or
Really?
is it Eagle? I think,
it's
it's Eagle.
I think it's Bird. But yeah, I feel like the 4 teams are really good, but there's a few guys that might surprise. I think Stick and Movers has a chance to take a team or two by surprise.
But
But
I think there's a lot of
gap
teams
though,
I think
right?
there's a lot of teams in Division 6 that are what I refer to often as matchup dependent. So,
Yeah,
for example, the Bruins at Gab Wiseman, Stick and Movers, One Speed Power, they're teams that match up really well one week,
yes.
and then another week it's a tough matchup for them.
Yes.
And
But
the
those are
teams that are
team-
matchup proof, in my opinion, are the U, Vic in a Box, and to a degree pension bond, unless you have immense athleticism.
But the thing is, these guys, these undefeateds right now, they're 3-0. They have a essentially 4-point lead or 2-game lead on these teams below them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm not look. We're going to see the U play Vic in the Box, so that's going to cancel each other out, right? Someone's going to fall, someone's going to move up the rankings here. But is it safe to say, though, gentlemen, that these 4 teams could pull further away from the pack, and we might end up having a weaker bottom bracket of that side of the playoffs than maybe having a parity within that whole picture frame?
Well, it's possible, but again, it's only been 3 weeks, right? So a single one of Vic in the Box and the U, one of them's going to lose this week. So all they need is like a second loss to follow that the following week, which is one of these two guys, and somebody could catch up already. There's a bunch of teams that are, let's say OSP wins the next 2 games and the U loses their
But
next
that's what
2
I'm saying.
games.
There's a lot of teams like that in the division.
I feel it's too early to tell that these guys could really pull forward. They have a nice lead, it's comfortable, but that doesn't mean they're far from safe.
Let's talk about Team of the Week here, gentlemen. Tough Lungs, a.k.a. the Iron Lung.
Aqualung.
Eagle, do you know what the Iron Lung is all about?
Nice. Sorry?
Does Eagle know what the Iron Lung is all about?
Do you know what the Iron Lung is all about? Yes. Would you care to elaborate with no
Yes.
microphone?
He doesn't have a mic, but he just turned around and was like, yes. And Mo didn't know what to
Who
say.
do they call the Iron Lung?
Oh, I'm talking about the actual Iron Lung. There's like 10 left in the world, by the way.
No, I'm talking about Method Man.
No, I'm talking about the actual machine that would keep you alive because it would simulate the pressure.
You're not on a microphone, so this
Yeah,
is very
it-
boring.
this is
Anyway,
the
okay.
worst
Why are
segment.
you
Alright,
asking
tough-
him
tough
questions
lungs.
then?
Tough Lungs.
GM, do you know who the Iron Lung is?
It's apparently Method Man.
Nice knowledge,
His mom
yeah.
calls him Big Meth.
Of course. He's 6'6", by the way.
Yes, that's why he's Big Meth.
Yes.
That's fair.
2-0, defeated Farmers practice squad during the way here. Like, they got the Lerner boys in there, Matthew and Justin Lerner. Matthew with 8 touchdown passes. The team as a defense has 6 INTs this year. Gentlemen, how impressed are you by this team? They're 2-0 on their side of the division right now.
See, like, I'm not too impressed because I expect them to be good. Like, the Lerner brothers are really good. Darren Mijasian is very good. The team itself is good. There's no reason to think, oh, they're 2-0. It's very impressive. I expected them to be 2-0 at this point, and I expect them to have a very good record moving forward.
I love how you just sped through McDazian's name because you were scared of it. So like,
It's
See what I did
called,
there?
it's called the Wrangler.
Wrangler, man.
That's fair.
Um,
That's a good name.
and-
I'll go with that.
Wrangler.
And the thing is, so I was there for a part of this game, and there's gonna be a recap of my article. But
Thanks a lot for your cheap
well,
plug.
again, so like we have. So here we go behind the scenes. We actually have a spreadsheet where we announce it ahead of time who we're covering. So Mo can easily build a script that won't
But
involve the teams I'm covering in my
that would
article.
involve Mo having any sort of prep.
Yeah, and the thing is, so I'll get into more detail, and it also allows us to go more quickly through these topics anyway. But so for more details about this, please go to my article. The Farmers
That's not
without Corey Greenway will not be competitive in this
They
division.
have not been competitive at all this year.
And all we saw Justin Lerner do for large portions of the game is throw deep balls, which if Corey Greenway is there, he takes away an entire half of the field. So,
Or it takes away that entirely.
well, that's what I'm saying. He takes
It's not-
away.
It would have been just half. You could take like
Well, I mean, half
everything deep.
from 10 to 40 yards. he takes
Yeah.
away literally an entire half of the field. You know what I mean? So once, like, you might catch him once, and then he just decides, oh, I'm taking this away, and you're not playing with that toy anymore. and right now, the Lerner brothers, they got all their toys.
But you know what, though? Like, like their schedule so far, right? They have Fighting Flamingos this week, which is a real good test for them.
They have a
Should-
tough schedule.
This
to
is
be honest.
this is a great week of
Yeah.
football for Div 6 this week, right? But after that, though, they could run the table and perhaps be 8 wins, which would be more than enough to win their division and probably a 1 seed in their side of the
Yeah.
playoffs here. Look, I like their defense. With that experience they have, the wealth of FPF championships they had with Lerner, McDizzy, all these guys on the roster, look, they could definitely be a very tough out moving towards the end of the year.
Well, they're one of the best teams we haven't really talked about in the past 2 weeks. It's just since they missed a game, they only had 1 win, and we kind of overlooked them. But they're definitely up there with some of the best teams in this division.
Well, but that's part of it. That I mean, with 1 week, we don't really know what to make of it.
Exactly. If you have
Like, I
one
hate
win-
writing the week one article. Is like I don't know what I'm saying. All of
So-
these are guesses.
But look,
It's funny
okay,
you say that.
for them against
Don't really do.
Flamingos coming up this week, right? Whoever wins this game, would you say, if I know you have your article, read Peace's article on Saturday,
or don't really.
or don't? So I'll ask you this question. So maybe you can touch base on it, scratching the surface for Peasy. Whoever wins this game, would you put them as your number 1 team in your Power 5? Because it's 2 top tier teams going at it this week.
Well, they'll be number 1 in Conference B for sure.
Yeah.
Does that mean they're number 1 overall? Possibly, but that's not a guarantee.
I already think Flaming Flamingos are likely the best team, although their wins have not been super impressive in the past couple of weeks. They've been
Yeah.
closer than I would like them to see. When you see the U running away with games, for example.
Yeah.
So that said, I will have my power rankings on Saturday.
Go read on Saturday, right? But you know what?
That's not a
So, but
wait.
here's the thing, though. Let's just say, argument's sake, Flamingos win, okay, over them. Does this have that long-term impact where can we find 2 losses for the Flamingos for Tough Lungs to jump over them to regain maybe the top seed? It's tough.
I think
because
Flamingos are losing 2 games total this season.
could this be one of them?
Yes,
Read the article.
it can be. It can be. I haven't done my predictions yet, so I don't even know
Spoilers
yet.
alert.
But, it can be, and this is a game I'm gonna have a lot of difficulty picking. So, and also I don't really know the results in advance, so we always have trouble picking. But yeah,
I mean,
Read
unless
the
you have a
article.
coin.
oh, sorry.
Unless you have a coin.
Yeah, that's what I do.
That's, usually
That's how I pick my games.
Boom.
Well then, Max Burra.
Yeah,
Yes.
ridiculous. So I was there for this
Yes.
game, unfortunately.
You were a victim of this.
On both sides of the ball. First of all, he was matched up like I expected, up against William Power.
So it was a power outage.
It was a power- And Will would be the first one to tell you, Jesus, that dude's good, because he Will anything past 5 yards wasn't open.
I can
At
tell
any
you
point.
one thing: Mr. Power was not happy with the Patriots' win on Saturday.
No, he was
He
not.
was not happy. I was just like, yeah,
we found
let's
out.
go.
We found out in the huddle in the second drive. I was like, "How am I supposed to focus?"
Yeah.
And so the thing is that on defense, first of all, his range is ridiculous, and on offense, Styles Trudeau, who is other than having
Coolest
the
name.
best name
Coolest name
of
out.
any quarterback in the division, it's like a fake movie from the '90s quarterback name.
It's amazing.
Yeah, not the program, but
Whatever,
the
any-
Titans.
Any of those movies could have had Styles Trudeau as the
Yeah.
quarterback. They can remake what's that movie? GM.
Longest Yard.
That
Bank
movie?
robbers. The bank robbers. Guy used to play football. Johnny Utah.
That movie.
Point Break.
Point
They can
Break.
remake Point Break
Keanu.
and name Keanu Reeves, who'll still be playing the quarterback for some reason. They
That's
could
what he
rename
does.
him Styles Trudeau, and it would
will
still be awesome. It will work. But anyway, so a lot of what Styles does is he stands 5 steps behind the snapper, throws the ball towards the middle of the field at a ridiculously high point, and literally our defenders are like, all right, this is a pick in the chest. And Max would come out of nowhere and grab the ball at it must have been 15 feet high up in the air.
That's a lot of feet.
That dude can dunk a child into a basketball net.
2 month or
So you
6
could
month?
dunk willpower.
Like a 5-year-old child.
Oh, 5-year-old.
5-year-old child in a basketball net.
We'll have to test
Can we
that
set
out.
this up? Do we have a budget for that?
And no, we
can-
don't.
Yeah, we
we
can. We
don't
can
have
do
budget
it.
for much.
We have a gym. So is he more likely a 2-way player of the year candidate or receiver of the year candidate? Look at his stats across the board.
Well-
They're strong both ways.
Looking at his stats, I'd say he's more likely to be receiver of the year because they're more receiver heavy. But he does have the best defensive stats all
But I
around.
think he also plays a lot of good quarterbacks who won't throw at him.
Well,
So he's gonna be avoided.
he already has 3 interceptions.
So what does that mean from
Which, you know-
from a strategic standpoint? Do they move him around just to try to guess on a matchup on the quarterback throwing it whichever side?
It's not what they do. They sort of what they want to do on defense is take away your main weapon and make you try and win
Without
going to other things,
so
which is difficult.
the right
Individual
thing to do.
Absolutely.
So who's more important then for Vic in the box? Is it Trudeau, our boy Styles, or is it our boy Max Burrow? For this
It's
offense
Max
to be
Burrow. Because Styles Trudeau would be an okay quarterback without him. Like he throws the best ball in Division 6.
yeah.
His release is very quick. His play calling is sound, but without him there, this team is good but not special.
They don't have that.
He makes him special.
They don't have that go get it
Yeah.
type of player.
Yeah. He based the ball was up at the level of God's nuts. He just snatched God's nuts.
Ooh,
It's a real thing.
interesting. That's interesting.
I was there. I saw it.
It's a real thing.
nuts.
You can't say I'm wrong because I was there.
It's true you were there. I wasn't.
Well,
So
coming
you
up
know.
next, now we'll ask someone who might know
God.
God and Marc-Andre Delaunier as we'll get his thoughts on 6 and 6D. GM, we haven't heard from you yet. Good evening to you, sir.
Good evening.
Okay, coming up next, Marc-Andre Delaunier here on Calling the Audible.
Today's guests on the Sportira guest line are brought to you by Sportira, the official suppliers of FPF uniforms and jerseys, as well as the home to the Sportira cage. Are you not getting your stats because your jersey is so beat up that the scorekeeper can't read your number? Don't be that guy on the Flag Plus football wall. We all know who you are. And get yourself or your team a fresh new look today by emailing info@sportira.com for quotes and details.
Salut, comment vous
this
allez?
will count us back into the show,
Salut
Eagle.
Marc, ça va?
Hi, Mark.
Ça va, ça va? Oui, on entendait juste Peeze en arrière, c'est correct.
Ouais, mais ça, on s'habitue. Hein.
Oui, ça va très bien, et vous?
Oui, merci. Donc, pour la deuxième semaine, on n'aura pas besoin de t'introduire. Tu t'es introduit il y a quelques semaines pour nous, mais tu joues en Division 6. Tu écris les articles pour Division 6 en français, dans Division 4, 5, 6 en fait.
Oui, exact.
Tu joues en Division 4 et 6 cette saison-ci. On va te demander un peu plus ton opinion en tant que rédacteur pour la Division 6 aujourd'hui. Donc,
Excellent.
selon toi, parmi les 6 équipes présentement invaincues en Division 6, laquelle t'impressionne le plus?
Vous m'avez glissé un petit bout tantôt. Il y a The You, il y a Channel 4 News Team, Pension Plan, Fighting Flamingos et Tough Log. Mais je dois y aller avec Vic in the Box. C'est qu'ils ont un différentiel de points de plus 79. C'est quand même très impressionnant. Et en plus, ils ont affronté deux équipes que je mettais dans le top 10 avant le début de la saison, soit Blitz Babe et One Speed Powers. Et en plus, vous n'avez amplement parlé, Moose Barros, c'est un joueur à surveiller pour le titre de MVP Both-Way Player.
Merci. Selon toi,
So all the things we already talked about, Timo, good job preparing the script. Mark, how about you do something interesting and give us your movie review of the week?
Oh, mais en fait, c'est mon film préféré de 2017. Ça s'appelle La Sorcière, The Witches en la version originale anglaise. En fait, c'est une adaptation d'une pièce de théâtre canadienne qui a eu beaucoup de succès à Toronto. Et c'est principalement des acteurs de théâtre bourrés de talent. Et en résumé, c'est au 17e siècle. C'était une famille puritaine de la Nouvelle-Angleterre doit quitter la ville pour aller habiter sur leur ferme qui est entourée de bois. Ils se retrouvent rapidement livrés à eux-mêmes dans ce lieu menaçant qui semble les observer. Des animaux ont des comportements inquiétants, les récoltes sont perdues et un nouveau-né disparaît mystérieusement. Devant l'inexplicable, les parents tentent de trouver des solutions raisonnées et rester calmes. Donc, pour les adeptes de films d'horreur suspense, je vous le conseille fortement.
Merci, Marc.
Something like that. Eagle just told us it's available on Netflix for anyone who wants to watch it. One of the things that irritates me about film culture today, Mark, is Rotten Tomatoes. Everyone instantly goes to Rotten Tomatoes to get an answer. To me, first of all, there are a percentage of ads that are bought and paid for. For example, there's a dude who made a living writing restaurant reviews on Yelp and then created a false restaurant that became the #1 restaurant in London. And so I feel like a lot of that's happening with Rotten Tomatoes. Do you trust it, or do you, like I, think it's complete trash?
Personnellement, c'est que je me fie à mes opinions personnelles. C'est que oui, parce qu'il y a beaucoup de disparités entre une personne va le donner 5, l'autre personne va le donner 2. Mais c'est pour ça que moi, j'aime, avant de faire le review, j'aime faire ma propre opinion. Et je vais pouvoir dire, je regarde beaucoup de cinéma. J'ai plusieurs amis qui ont étudié dans le cinéma, donc j'ai une certaine culture cinématographique qu'est-ce qui constitue un bon film ou pas. Donc, avant de faire une critique, il faut que j'aille vu le film puis je me baser sur mon opinion personnelle.
Ouais, merci Marc. Donc on a parlé de l'équipe qui t'impressionne le plus, on a parlé de l'équipe qui te déçoit le plus présentement en Division 6, ce serait qui?
Je dois malheureusement y aller avec Hopeful Division 6 Champion. Leur nom d'équipe n'est sûrement pas prémonitoire.
Maybe it's
Avec
ironic.
le normal. Ouais, très
Maybe it was a
ironique.
joke.
Yeah, maybe it's a joke. Yeah. J'espère pour eux parce qu'on est loin du titre, les boys. C'est qu'ils ont une fiche de 0 victoire, 3 défaites. Ce qui est malheureux parce qu'une équipe qui compte des joueurs avec beaucoup d'expérience FPF, que ce soit Corey Wiener, Charles Migné, Daniel Marceau et Benoît Dussault, ce genre d'équipe-là doit donner de meilleurs résultats. Seth Galina ne complète que 46% de ses passes. C'est dur de gagner dans cette situation-là. Puis c'est vrai aussi que Hopeful Division 6 Champion ont affronté de bonnes équipes, que ce soit One Speed Power, Panson Plan, mais on s'attend beaucoup mieux d'un groupe de joueurs aussi talentueux.
La meilleure offensive en Division 6D, ce serait Sick Big, Air Force One ou...
Les deux équipes sont très bonnes. Comme Benzie Ziegler de Sigbic est dominant avec 6 TD et 0 interceptions. Mais je dois y aller avec Simon Blais et Air Force One. C'est qu'ils ont 13 touchés. Il y a 13 touchés, désolé, seulement 2 interceptions. Un QB rating de 119.5 et complète 69% de ses passes, comparativement à 53% à son vis-à-vis. Puis de plus, Air Force One compte 4 receveurs avec plus de 90 verges de gain, soit Chris Van Ord, Nicolas Lessard, Nicolas Dumitru et Edouard Arsenault. Désolé pour la prononciation des boys. Là. Ben, fait que oui, je dois y aller définitivement avec Air Force One pour la diversification de leurs receveurs. Tandis que Stick Big, ils ont 2 receveurs qui dominent, comparativement à 4 pour Air Force One.
Ouais, donc pour finir, Marc, on va te poser une dernière question. On a parlé de Tough Lungs un peu plus tôt. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de Tough Lungs? Tu penses que c'est une vraie équipe qui pourrait être concurrent au titre, selon toi?
Vous m'avez glissé un peu un bout tantôt, c'est que enfin on va le savoir cette semaine, c'est qu'ils affrontent justement Fighting Flamingos, qui est selon moi, je suis d'accord avec Peeze, qui est l'équipe à battre en Division 6. Donc on va vraiment le savoir cette semaine de quel bois il chauffe. Mais une équipe qui compte parmi les 2 meilleurs athlètes de toute la division, soit Darren Mijdesian et Matthew Lerner, le carrière, et son frère Justin Lerner. C'est un trio vraiment incroyable. Donc, d'après moi, ils peuvent battre n'importe qui, mais jusqu'à présent, ils ont affronté des clubs que je considère de moyen à moyen faible. Donc, cette semaine, c'est vraiment le gros test pour eux. Et une petite chose que cependant que je devrais dire à propos de Matthew Lerner, c'est qu'il devrait moins se fier à ces 2 grosses vedettes. C'est que tu regardes la comparaison des statistiques pour les 3e, 4e receveurs, ils ont un petit peu moins de target que ces 2 grosses. Donc, s'il réussit à mieux diversifier son ballon, d'après moi, ils peuvent causer beaucoup de dégâts d'ici la fin de l'année.
As-tu des games à surveiller en semaine 4, selon toi, qui seraient les plus intéressantes à voir?
Oui, définitivement, il y a celle-là, justement, entre Tough Lug et Fighting Flamingos. Ça, c'est la Game of the Week. Là. C'est la grosse game à voir. Si vous avez justement une game à voir cette semaine, c'est elle que vous devriez regarder.
Parfait. Merci beaucoup, Marc.
Merci à vous.
Hi, Mo, we're back.
We're back. Right. Welcome back.
More likes his pauses.
Yes,
They're
I
awkward.
like to build that
Dramatic
apex.
pause.
All right, let's dive back into 6D, guys. Let's talk about the future prospects of some of these guys here. I know we talked, building a team last week for the 6D here, but if you have to pick one quarterback to build your roster moving forward, and you guys are astute GMs, no pun intended, Jim, you're the cream of the crop, my friend.
It's his name.
It's
in his name.
I think
cheating.
So. Which quarterback would you take? Gabadon Lapointe, Ben McMahon, who, by the way, leads the rushing department with 173 yards rushing, David Roldy, or Simon Blais as your franchise quarterback moving forward in 6D and beyond?
This is going to be a boring question because I think we have the same answer.
I think we have the same answer in Simon Blais.
Yes, we do.
There you go.
Oh, exciting.
All of them. So I have some analysis, though.
Yeah.
Of course you do.
Yeah, because I actually do my job. David Wildy, however, I think while not being necessarily a good quarterback, is a good and will become an even better FPF quarterback. In that you don't need the strongest arm, you just need to be able to call plays that work and know how to use the weapons around you. And I think he makes the best of what he has around him, which is nice to see. Gabriel Lapointe throws a nice ball, which is well catchable, but it's also easily catchable for the other team, and he makes too many mistakes. I think he's the one that kind of sticks out for me here. And I think Ben McMahon would be an excellent receiver. But this team is best served with him as a receiver, not a quarterback.
You know, you just pulled off right now.
What?
The anti-height determination. Because he's a small quarterback, he can't play quarterback then.
Give me tall guys. Hey, look, if NFL scouts can do it, I can do it too. But then again, Samuel Cadon's tall and he's not great.
This is true.
Oh.
But
Happy Mo?
To me, it was the other way around. Where I thought that Ben McMahon was probably the weaker one of the four. Where it's not he's able to move the ball, use his feet to get some yardage. But the problem is he throws too many interceptions, and that's coming from me, which is
But we saw how good he can be. For example, when Juwan Edgehill was quarterback.
I'm not saying he's not good. I'm just saying like the turnover margin makes it risky for me to go with him as a
but if you look at Gabriel Bellin-Lapointe's career interception, like turnover,
I also didn't pick him.
Two wide receivers. I'm just saying, but
yes,
it's comparable. And when I'm saying neither of them kind of fit this list. But I will say, to me, what's interesting about Benjamin McMahon is I feel he's a guy who's playing quarterback because he has to, and the team doesn't really have anybody.
I agree with you.
But if this team had a quarterback, he would be a dominant receiver.
I agree. I think his size wouldn't matter as a receiver if you use him properly.
That's what you say when you don't have the size.
Easier. Who's most likely to fall off the wagon in terms of their development as a quarterback?
I just answered that. So, Simon?
Yes, we kind of just did. I feel it's man.
For me, it's Lapointe, but I think either one is not particularly the top of the class.
Well, then, we'll have to find out as these guys develop right now. And, one thing to look at with these quarterbacks that I mentioned before, Blais has 13 TDs, 2 INTs, 68% passing completion. Roldy has a 63% passing completion. You rub up McMahon below 60 at 58. Well, that can improve, though, with time.
It's not so bad.
That's not too bad. And then, but on
you
the
thought
point,
it was worse, didn't you?
Yeah.
But on the point, though, we talk about passing completion. It's only a 45%.
That's low,
which is pretty low. So I mean,
if you're below 50,
would you take McMahon in that department though with a passing completion over the Bellin?
Bellin-Lapointe's biggest issue is if he was patient and made reads, he would be okay. But the thing is, he starts to panic and he starts to not even roll out, but sort of like strafe to one side and then throw it up and hope his receiver.
Could it be because of the rusher? Is he trying to buy himself a
kinda,
window?
He's buying time when he doesn't need to.
No, but what I'm saying is maybe he's not able to throw, let's say, down the field because the rush is there, so he moves to the side to create room for himself, which also cancels away a lot of room because if you move to the right, you can't throw to the left.
But that's it. So he limits his own ability to read the field.
But it could be against the game.
Yeah, it's definitely it's something he's doing on purpose, right? It's a strategy of his. I think he'd be better served to learn to sit in the pocket, be patient, make plays.
All right.
Team of the week.
He's not the quickest guy either, right? So.
Yeah, it's true.
Team of the week, Raw Sauce, 4th place in Conference B East.
I don't want to eat no Raw Sauce.
I know you don't. They're tied with Black Sox for 3rd place. They are only 2 points from Broke Boys for 2nd and 3 behind, or 6 points, or 4 points behind, 3 games behind Green Monster for 1st place. Gentlemen, you look at this team right now. Their key games, they got Krakens coming up, Balsahard later on in the year. William Plump, 4 TDs, 5 INTs. Not great quarterback stats for him.
And only 47.7% completion.
Yes, which is not that great.
No.
But how does this season play out for this squad? 1 and 2, nothing's done yet. We're only a third of the way through. Or Simo, what's the number exactly? Because I said third of the way 2 weeks ago. You're like, no, Mokan, shit show. We're not a third of the way through.
It's 3.33.
Yeah.
No, because last week he said we're third of the way, and I told Mo, it's been 2 weeks. You're not very good at math.
Yeah. We were a fifth of the way through.
So anyway,
he's like, you're right.
Shut up. So how does this play out though? For
I feel okay. So Raw Sauce.
Yes,
I feel like they had very tough games last 3 weeks. They played Sickpick, Balso Hard U, and 14-20. They won one of those 3 games, which is impressive.
They won against Pine Riders. I think you got the schedule wrong because they play Balso Hard coming soon.
That's interesting.
Yeah, you got the schedule completely wrong.
They played Balso Hard.
So their only win came against Pine Riders, who are 0-3.
Yeah, but you lost to Sickpick, which in my opinion is not a worry. Like if you lost to Sickpick or whatever, that's a loss, but they take it and move on. And so I'm not too worried about the team due to their schedule. The upcoming schedule, they need to win a few of their games. They have Krakens, they have Black Sox, they have Baker Boys, they have Goat Depot. And then the last 3 games are brutal. So they need to win at least 3
Yeah,
of these
they-
4 games to be competitive.
They end with sick pick and black so hard and ball so hard. Which
Black's
is,
hard.
Oh, that's true. Last
that's
3
pretty
games.
terrible. And Black Sox at the same time.
Black Sox.
But I think Black Sox are a better team than they are. I think they're lucky they have Krakens early before Krakens can sort of figure things out. Because I think Krakens are playing below their potential.
right.
And again, their only win is against Pine Riders, who I thought was too you thought Krakens going to be too strong to play in league,
Yes.
division, they're 0-3. I thought Pine Riders going to be too strong to play in division, they're 0-3. So we don't know anything.
We
but-
did nothing.
But I will say that their only win did come against that struggling Pine Riders team.
The last team to go undefeated is who? Balsa Hard, Sick Pick, Green Monster, AF1. I determine who's going to go undefeated. The last one to stay undefeated.
You want to start this piece or should I?
Or you wait till the article comes out Saturday.
Well, it's not in my article, so I don't know. I don't like predicting stuff because it
All
doesn't
right, I'll
matter.
go. I'll
So
go.
Air Force One.
I'll go. I said Air Force One because I feel their schedule is very easy moving
I
forward.
say no, it won't be Air
But-
Force One.
But I also feel like if Sick Big beats Green Monster week 8, Sick Big's going 10-0. So we might have 2 teams going 10-0.
Which does not bode well for their playoff hopes. We talk about
Curse.
the lower
We'll get that
division.
later.
Yeah.
Week 7,
10-0?
we'll start talking about
Yes,
that.
exactly.
Green Monster should go 7-0 before playing Sick Big. So that's also undefeated. And Balsa Hard will lose this week. So they'll be out of the race.
Fair enough. Before we get to games of the week here, a reminder.
The race.
We are entering week 4 with 7 games left. And for those in this division who are not familiar with the rules, because there are teams who don't know the full rules from top to bottom, you need 6 games to be playoff eligible. Now it's 5.
No, 6.
6. Oh, I meant to say 6. I like this.
Yes,
Replay
it's, al-
that.
it's,
That's
it's
6
also
games.
last week was also the third of the way.
Shut up. You need 6 games to
can
be
we-
eligible.
can-
It's so much more entertaining when we can't hear him and you just sort of have to guess what he's saying.
Yeah, what? What do you say?
Seriously, dude, get him
My
on.
headphones don't work. So we need 6 games to be playoff eligible. There's 7 left in the season now. So remember, for those teams who are looking to add on players, start
Next
having them
week,
play.
so last week,
yeah.
you cannot be playing.
Week 4, and then we have the Super Bowl bye week. But don't forget, though, after that bye week, guys, you need to have your guys eligible minimum 6 games in all the divisions we have here in FPF. It is now time for...
Games of the week.
All right, GM,
Awesome.
it is time for your segment. 3 games from each division. Let's go.
So starting it off in Division 6, we have Practice Squad against Diablos.
Practice squad, a bit of an upstart there at 2-1. Diablos, a familiar crew, but with a new quarterback. Francois Martin at receiver, while we have Michael Sundegear at quarterback.
Oh, it's true. You're not picking.
I'm not picking, so I'm just doing the analysis, and then you guys pick.
I'm going practice squad on this.
Practice squad on this one.
Bruins against the Pack.
Practice squad, I believe, is what Simon's mom called his first girlfriend. Sorry, what was the game?
Bruins against the Pack. Thank you,
Why?
Mark.
Bruins against the Pack. So Bruins again. We talked about quickly improving now 1-1-1. The Pack been a very uneven. Big
Bad
loss,
on
big
Loyola.
win second week, and then big
Bad-
loss
bad
3 point.
loss. Bad loss.
Yeah, I just said that.
Yeah, you said big loss. I say it's a bad loss.
Big and bad,
Cool, Mo.
bold.
Like black coffee.
And
Who do you have?
I'm going Bruins.
I'm
I
gonna
say
go
Gab
Pack.
Weisman's the king of Division 6.
I'm going to go with the Pack.
And to round it out in Division 6, Goon Squad against Guardians.
Going squad.
Goon Squad.
I was waiting for analysis, but
Yeah,
Peeze
I
is
forgot.
clueless.
I
Goon
forgot.
Squad.
Going squad.
Next.
I'm being asked to throw in Tough Lungs and Fighting Flamingos.
Yes, we got to put that
Fighting
in
Oh,
there.
that's good.
Flamingos.
Fighting Flamingos, team quarterback by Stephen Harpersad. We thought Brad Evans was going to be quarterback coming into the season. That has not been the case. Under Harry Prasad's tutelage, they've gone 3-0 and have been one of the most exciting teams in the division. Tough Lungs, having played just 2 games, and the learner-to-learner connection has
Collection.
learned us today.
I'm going with Flamingos.
I'm going tough lungs.
I am not picking.
Thank you, Peeze.
No problem. But my picks will be in the article along with Brett Podkins.
Yes, Jim.
So Division 6D.
That's correct.
They call
First,
it the D.
the D. Okay.
The D.
The D.
First one on the D. DGC against Here for the Beer.
DGC
DC.
getting their first win with Stefan's a quarterback here for the beer. A struggling team from last spring, still having some struggles early in the season in divisions. The D.
In Division.
I'm going with DGC to win in the D this week.
In the D, I agree with you.
Next.
So you think that they will not get the D as in the defeat?
No.
No.
They won't begin the D.
They will D.
They get the D as in the
They'll
touchdown.
defeat.
All right.
Next.
Ball So Hard You against Sick Bick. We touched upon this a
This
little
is
bit.
going to be a great game. Also heard you maybe complacent after an unfortunate bye week that where their opponent forfeited, so they didn't get to play their week 2 game.
That
Their
sucks.
going up against. I forgot already.
Sick bet.
Sick big.
Sick big, one of the most impressive teams. We talked about Benji Sigler's success at the quarterback position coming to the season. Gentlemen, your picks.
I said this earlier. Sick big is winning. Balsar U's taking their first loss this week.
I agree. Next.
Baker Boys against 4th and 20.
Baker Boys at 4th and 20. 4th and 20 had a game this week where I wondered if either team was going to complete the 10 passes combined.
They did.
Wow.
And they did. I lost $100 to Stefano Berardi.
Did you really?
Yeah. It's going to be a tough season for me. I have a gambling
Must be a lot of
problem.
Cookie Crisp over there. I need to
Yeah.
give them.
And they're playing against Guardians.
4th and 20.
Guardians.
No, 4th and 20 against
Baker
Baker
Boys.
Boys.
Baker Boys, another team returning from spring. Baker Boys were one of the struggling franchises last spring. With a bit of they've improved their offensive production, and they're looking to have a better season this summer around.
I'm going Baker Boys here.
Agreed. Next.
And the slump. There's no next. That's it. Mo.
3.
Oh,
That's
there
3
you go.
games.
Okay. All right then.
And remember, there's the thing I always forget to say.
Read his article.
Bye. No.
I never forget to say that.
No, I'm saying.
I
Read
think
his
you said it
article.
10 times.
I'm all about them clicks. Clicks on clicks on clicks.
Yes.
Clickbait.
Good night, Jacksonville. We'll see you next September.